This is a HeadGum podcast.
Just another manic Monday.
Nice.
Wish it was Sunday.
So this episode is actually brought to you by a new sponsor.
It felt like you sort of just you brushed me off.
I was just going to say that this episode is actually sponsored by somebody new, a new advertiser.
And that's really exciting.
It is really exciting.
Yeah, but you brushed me off earlier when you said nice.
Because I was like, I'm going to click record, don't sing a song.
Right.
And then I click record.
Now that I'm thinking about it, and I am thinking about it.
You are thinking about it a lot.
You like shut me down.
Yeah.
It's like you didn't like me singing.
No, I didn't like you singing.
All right, let's
talk
about, hey, that's enough. But let's talk about the sponsor.
I don't, but don't say that in a way like we're going to address this later. I don't want to hash this out ever.
Right. I just don't really want a public record.
See, at this point, we're like almost a minute in, and I haven't even said who the sponsor
Unroll.
Yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unroll me.
Unroll me. Everyone's favorite email decluttering service has released an iOS app. Finally,
Thank you.
Quick, free, painless solution to the inbox overload. I was the kind of guy that I wake up and I have just 21 emails.
Right. And they're sort of exciting. You're like, whoa, 21 emails.
Yeah.
And then they are all from like J. Crew and Gap. And,
they're all from J. Crew. This is a J. Crew unsubscribing website. No, you don't realize how, like, if you've been on the internet for 5, 10, 15 years, you're on every list.
Right.
And so this is the best way to unsubscribe to a bunch of newsletters all at once. When you sign up, they backscan your inbox for 45 days for subscription-based emails. Then they'll show them to you and allow you to unsubscribe from them all, roll them up, or you can keep them all with a quick swipe. You swipe to the left to unsubscribe, swipe to the right to keep, and swipe up to roll up. It's kind of like Tinder, but for email cleaning.
It's nice because I do love fucking email.
Exactly.
All right.
I fucking love email.
Oh.
So the roll-up is basically a daily digest made of all the rolled-up emails you've received during that day. So you can say, never again, all right, keep it going, or you can put it as part of your roll-up, which is a once-a-day thing.
Beautiful.
It's clean, it's easy, it works with Gmail, Yahoo, AOL, iCloud, Outlook. The closest you'll get to making email fun again is Unroll Me, and they have an app. If you go to unroll.me/app to download it.
Yeah, dude. If you're trying to upgrade yourself, like keep your inbox trim.
Yeah, you got to get that.
You don't want to look at somebody's phone and be like, oh shit, they have a comma after their emails.
Like the red dot is
Dave
actually
Rosenberg's
4
email is like it's like a 6 and like a comma and a dot and then 4. Like it looks like he has over 1 trillion emails.
He might at the very least have close to 1 billion. So unroll.me/app, and it's just a easy way to keep your email under control. One last time, that's unroll.me/app to download. Thank you to Unroll Me for sponsoring this episode.
Yeah.
New sponsor. Toda to them. This was a fun episode. Billy Scafuri in the house.
Love him, Billy. Love me some Billy, dude.
And if you guys don't know who Billy is, you're going to love you some Billy, starting right now. Things got real.
It's just another manic Monday.
If I were you, you'd be me. We would be each other.
Yes.
Let that last note hang.
Matt,
Dude, let it ring.
Matt Bogdanow is the guy who wrote it. Billy Scafuri is the guy who's in our studio.
Bogdanow just wailed.
Yeah.
I did.
Damn. You think he did that in a studio?
We should have Bogdanow on the podcast.
You haven't yet?
Get out of here, Billy.
Just call me Billy Bogdanow for the rest of the episode.
Cool.
Did I pronounce your last name correctly? Scafuri?
Yep. Hard U. Yuri.
Scafuri.
Yep.
Scafuri.
Let's all say it together.
Scafuri.
Perfect. Thank you, Jake.
Scaffolding.
That's right.
William Scaffoldi.
You do come from a scaffolding empire, is that correct?
That's right, yeah. And whatever empire you come from, you are named for.
Yeah,
Yes,
for
of
example, my empire was the Blumenfeld, or in German, the flower field.
Wow.
Very interesting.
That
Which
sounds
is
like
why-
a cocaine empire.
Yes, it was
flower
a cocaine. I was going to say I'm also a butterfly.
That's nice.
Yeah. Why would you say that? Not why are you that? Why would you say that right now? Billy, you're a comedian.
Yes.
You're also the host of the Fantasy Football Podcast on our HeadGum Network.
2 for 2, I'm here.
What else have you done? How else would our fans know you? Or not know you?
I imagine that many of them don't know me. It's a big world out there. But for those who do, it's probably through Harvard Sailing Team, my sketch comedy team.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been together for like 11 years. And we've kind of performed at colleges and stuff and online and all that nonsense.
One of the rare internet teams that predates Jake and me.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
How old are you guys?
I am 41.
Okay, and you?
9.
Okay, great. This is going to be a complicated question to figure out. But Harvard Sailing Team just turned 11. That's definitely old for a comedy team. Everyone breaks up after 5 years. About 5 years ago, we did a sketch in New York where we were an audience. We played an audience at a Melissa Etheridge concert who didn't know the words to her songs, but they were still kind of into it. To celebrate Harvard Sailing Team's 11th anniversary, we're going to a Melissa Etheridge concert at Morongo this Saturday.
Wow. Wait.
So you guys all still hang out together.
Oh, we're still best friends, yeah.
Casino Morongo?
Never been there before, but we're going to see Etheridge. We're buying the T-shirt. 9 Etheridge T-shirts clumped
Where
together.
is Casino Morongo?
It's like near Palm Springs, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you
I
always
think it's
drive
2 hours
past
east
Morongo
to get to Vegas.
Yeah. But we're going to go to this kind of second-rate motel to see first-rate Melissa Etheridge. We won't know her words, just like the sketch we did.
The only one who
Walk across- and also, come to my window. That real like bass voice Melissa
Yeah.
Etheridge. Yeah, that lower octave.
Oh, that's great.
But then it's
great
got-
songs. But yeah, that's about
But a
it.
concert's like 25 songs.
Right. It's like going to, I think a couple years ago, I went to a Lit concert. And that's like fucking
Nice.
dope. Like My Own Worst Enemy.
Yeah.
Totally.
The other one that they had.
My Own
You
Worst Enemy.
Make Me Come. You know that one?
You make me complete.
Yeah, You Make Me Completely Miserable.
Yeah.
Great lyrics. But that they do only have those 2 songs. And
Every song should do a band sharing program with other songs where they play their hits and then the hits of other like bands.
Right. Lit could have covered like
Some 41s.
Some 41 or
Back
Lit
when-
182.
did.
Yeah.
Any band that has
No, they
numbers
could
at
not
the
cover
end.
Blink. Blink's
There is but
a
one
league of
Blink.
its own.
They're not part of the band exchange. But if like Melissa Etheridge started singing like
She's
"Till
band
the
exchange.
sun came up over,"
I was gonna say
Santa-
Sheryl Crow, too.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Sure. Same thing.
Yep, get a McLaughlin in there.
Absolutely, Lisa Loeb.
Yeah, sure. Anyone who was in Little Affair.
You know, one of my, I guess, not really embarrassing, but I guess it was at the time. My favorite song when I was like a 12-year-old Jewish boy. Imagine me, 4'2", mushroom haircut, big glasses,
Yep.
bad teeth, skin fine for now. Loving the shit out of Sophie B. Hawkins' "As I Lay Me Down to Sleep." No, "As I Lay Me." Yeah,
You would like that song. I mean, you probably still like that
I
song.
still love it.
Your music
Yeah,
taste
'cause
it
you
has not
always
changed.
be, because I'm
Your
far
music taste
away.
has not changed. It's just, that is you.
But why? What do I love? And not only did I love that song, I bought the CD, which was just that song.
There was
Oh,
a-
you bought the single.
What about
Yeah,
that? Do you
I
know
bought
what
a
runs
single
adjacent to
CD.
that? I grew up the same adolescent as you, and mine was, I think his name was Edward Hawkins or something, but his
Yeah.
song was, "And I'll be your shining horror."
It's somebody.
I'll
Edward
be-
Sharp. Edward Sharp. Yeah.
No,
Is
is
that
it?
Is that who it is?
No, I don't know.
No,
if it is.
Edwin Sharp.
Edwin.
I'll be your.
The time of your
Love
life.
suicide. I was.
And I'll be
that was my.
broken.
Me and my high school girlfriends, like, that was our song, and
Sure.
every time that song came on, we would just like hold hands in the car, you know. Loved it. There's
Edwin
one time-
McCain.
Edwin McCain.
Kane.
John McCain's nephew.
We were in the car and that song came on. We were like, we'd been fighting and that song came on, and I just like slammed the radio off, and I was like, that's the coolest thing anyone's ever done.
Our song is over.
Everybody, if you're 18 and under, you have a song with a girl, and then
course.
you no longer have songs, right?
No, I have songs with that.
Really? You still have a song?
Yeah.
You still have songs?
I do not have songs anymore.
Yeah, I don't have songs
I was a
anymore.
much more fragile person, sub 18, where like a song would just like shoot off so many emotional fireworks, and it was just like, you know, who the one person who did that to me, Adele, like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
she was just like, I was in a perfectly healthy relationship. I'm still in that same relationship, but hearing those songs, I was questioning everything. Everything.
Have you heard her new song?
Yeah.
It's really intense.
She puts you in a place that you don't need to be in a relationship. She makes you question things that aren't there.
She's probably responsible for more breakups than, I don't know,
But she's
Iwo
also
Jima?
responsible for like getting.
I wonder if there's stats out there for that. Adele versus Iwo Jima. There's got to be some sort of Tumblr.
Adele versus Iwo Jima.
Buy the
Tumblr.
domain now.
Yeah,
if you have
I
it.
don't care if this episode is sponsored by Squarespace or not. That domain's available.
Adele versus Iwo
Use our
Jima.
coupon code.
Get creative.
So, Billy, I don't know if you know, but this is an advice podcast.
Yes.
Jake and I actually have the world's only advice podcast hosted by each other.
The first and only.
Yeah, the first and only Jake and Amir advice show podcast.
There are no other Jake and Amir podcasts out there?
None.
Okay.
Especially not advice podcasts.
That's right.
Right.
Very specific.
Yeah.
Two guys named
Joy
Jake
and Amir from the football,
Yeah.
from the NFL have a podcast, but it's not advice.
When we
God.
started the Fantasy Football Podcast, and I'll keep this brief, I didn't know what the goal was. The goal now is to unite Jake and Amir, you two, with Joik and Amir, the running backs for the Detroit Lions.
Oh yeah, I mean, people on our did we ever talk about it on our podcast?
No, we
People
haven't.
Don't know.
The two running backs for the Detroit Lions names are Joik Bell and Amir Abdullah.
Correct.
Their names are Joik and Amir.
I don't know what the four of you would do when you're in the same room, but that's a picture we need to take.
Yeah.
That's just the worlds colliding.
It's
perfectly.
us versus them.
Yes.
And there's like a weird chance that we're, in a weird way, like more like internet famous than like Joik Bell and Amir Abdullah.
Definitely
course.
more Twitter followers, 100%.
Because they're professional athletes.
And despite them
They're
being
more
so-
important,
but
than
they're
we
not
are,
very-
But we have more online presence.
Yeah.
for sure.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But if the apocalypse hit, I'd rather be with Joik and Amir than Jake and Amir.
Yeah.
For what that's worth.
But if it was if you were like having to choose the best two running backs in the NFL, they might not even be in the top 30.
No, definitely
And
not.
neither would me and Jake.
Hey, don't
So-
don't trash talk because they might listen to this episode.
Well, they
I
wouldn't be in
really
the top
think so.
30 because they'd be in the top 2.
yes, dude,
Jake.
I love that.
They would be the top.
No, that would mean that they're in
Just
the top.
don't-
Dude, don't question
Just
it.
don't. The logic totally works.
What if you were going to be stranded on a desert island? Would you rather be with Jake and Amir, us, or
Yeah.
Joik and Amir, the running backs?
I'd rather be with Jake and Joik.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that. Joik Bell and Jake Hurwitz.
JakeandJoik.com.
Just a little remix of the combinations if possible.
Yeah, we probably that's a good combo. Actually.
I think the three of us would have a good time.
yeah, we would.
But you guys have a podcast and it's about advice.
Yeah. So this is an advice show. We're getting real emails from real people to ifireadyshow@gmail.com. We're going to read a couple of them, try to advise them out of their sticky situations. But what we need from you, William Scaffolding, is fake names to preserve their anonymity because we don't want to out them in the real world.
Happily.
Yeah. So
Happily.
this is just a guy dating a girl,
Okay.
asking him to love her.
This is Pat Happily
And he is happily Pat.
at gmail.com.
Pat Happily, which is Pat Castles' nickname. Pat Happily writes, "Hey guys, I have an interesting problem. I started dating my smoke show of a girlfriend 4 months ago, and things have been perfect despite my being away at school. No fighting, we get along amazingly, and the sex is incredible. The problem started a week ago when I jokingly said something about masturbating before I came back to school, and she said that she wanted me to wait so that the sex would be better. Now, normally I try to rub one out a few hours before we would have had sex to try to increase durability, but I saved up anyways, and when I came home, she was right. The sex was awesome. The problem is, with the week-long buildup of semen, there was quite a lot when it came time for me to explode on her chest. Much to my surprise, she loved this, and now wants me to stop masturbating entirely to maximize the amount of cum for the next time. The problem is, I kind of masturbate a lot, like once every other day, and saving up for a week is incredibly difficult, let alone a month. Should I tough it out and make it more enjoyable for her? And if not, how do I tell her that I refuse and need to keep jerking it? On a real note, you guys are the best. Thank you so much for being that little beacon of light that helped turn the shittiest of days great. And you have helped me and so many other people out in so much more ways than you know.
I really needed to insert that last one. That was just for us.
He didn't even write that part. Toe.love, Pat Happily.
Happily Pat.
So,
There's a lot of things in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of cum.
Yeah.
Jake-
There's a lot of come to
A lot
unpack.
of ejaculate.
Jake and I found this question about an hour before you got here, and then we got to doing a little bit of light research. Is your nutsack like a water balloon at a sink that will just grow infinitely the less you masturbate. So, like, is there a max?
What a perfect visual.
Is there a maximum?
He was in his room with a sketchbook for an hour. I think he was diagramming that thought.
At a certain point, if you waited 3 days versus 6 days versus a month,
right?
This lady thinks it'll just grow and grow until your body
One of those
is
weird
just...
baboons with those like weird red butts that hang out.
Yeah, she thinks your entire body will overflow with cum if you never masturbate.
Like, don't you see that happening to dogs? Mm-mm. Like dogs with huge ass nuts that aren't. I don't know. Maybe it just happened in Van Wilder.
Yeah, maybe I'm just thinking about a dog with huge nuts. Or does semen like replenish after a day and then it plateaus after that?
Now, I'm no scientist, but I think
You answer every question like that.
just to keep all of my answers safe.
I
But
asked you what the date was when you walked in.
and I'm no scientist, but I think it might be November 5th. But I'm no scientist.
That's wrong.
I think that's why wet dreams exist. What is the wet dream? Like, I have no explanation why the wet dream happens.
Wow.
Right.
So a wet dream is when your body is so overloaded with semen.
It's like, yo.
It tricks you when it's like, let's wait till he falls asleep.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like water coming out of a hole in a dam.
Yes.
It seeps out of your belly button or your dick.
Much
What do
like
you mean,
that-
or your... Sorry. Do you know where it comes out of?
Or like if you tourniquet your dick, it'll just leak out of your nose when you're asleep.
Jesus
It's an
Christ, man.
It's called orifice replacement surgery.
I feel like it's a real issue that you don't know which hole you come out of.
Amir's very confused in the whole blowing your nose process. He thinks that it's an orgasm every single time.
Yeah, like when you sneeze, it's a little bit 1/8 of an orgasm.
That's actually a pretty good theory. Is like when you don't masturbate,
Your
for a
body
while-
masturbates itself.
Right.
We were talking about how
You just
amazing
sleep
it
masturbate.
Yeah.
Because a wet dream, I guess you like... I think I like hump my sheets when I'm having a wet dream.
I wonder.
That's another thing we talked about. Like, how amazing would it be to see a time lapse of a guy tied up to his bed? So arm, leg.
I want to set this. You said that's another thing we talked about. How amazing would it be?
Okay, this is my.
See a guy.
I had nothing to do with this. This is your fantasy.
This is my fantasy.
Fish it out. So this guy's tied to a
This is
bed.
another
Guy tied
thing
to a
that you
bed.
talked about
Arm
one time.
to top right, other arm top left, leg bottom left, other leg bottom right. He's an X.
Standard tie-up.
Right.
We tell him not to masturbate for a month or 2 months.
This is you and Jake.
Yes.
I have nothing to do with this. I am extracting myself.
Then he's naked, and then I want to see a time lapse of a wet dream where this guy is borderline possessed by a sexual demon.
He's also been tied up for weeks.
He'll get a boner and start ejaculating without touching anything. It's just his eyes rolling back into his head, and his dick would get hard and start splooging everywhere. It would have to happen, right?
What do you want me to say to you right now?
You're freaking out.
What do you need us to
Spilling
say
his
to you?
coffee. You're standing up,
I want you to say, wow. I want you to. I want
pacing the
you,
room. He'd be splooging everywhere.
I want you to say that would be a very amazing thing to see. A
guess
sight to behold.
I'm no scientist, but I'd buy a ticket to the show. I'd come that one
You're
night
not
and
conducting
watch
the
it.
experiment. I'm down to be the guy, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would do it.
So this is how it could work out. Amir will tie you to the bed. He will play the scientist, and I'll be the guy behind the window.
And you're not a
watching it go
scientist.
down. We've already established that I'm no scientist.
Okay. So in the slight bit of research that we did, the main, I'd say 98% of the answers were about sperm, because it's people looking to get pregnant. Can I masturbate and then impregnate my wife?
Boring.
I don't care about the science of it all.
Yeah,
The fact of the matter is the sperm accounts for a very small amount of the semen.
Right.
Yeah, and they said the
We're
sperm
talking
starts to
ejaculate.
replenish. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
the
I'm
sperm
talking-
starts to replenish like 19 minutes after you come.
Yeah.
and it like after what it was like 2 or 3 days, you're back.
Right.
Your
back
sperm
to,
count
Back at 100, and you can't go higher than that.
for sperm count.
Yeah. Semen, it was a harder Yahoo answer to get.
I said nobody knew what the fuck they were talking. I mean, Yahoo answers nobody knows what they're talking about anyway. But
That's half the joy.
it seemed like nobody even cared about how much cum was coming out of their dick.
Well, this is just from a Yahoo Answers thread, which I can't stress is science fact. How long does it take for your testicles to fill with sperm? That's the question. Pretty simple. The best answer was sperm takes several weeks to mature. And then another person said it depends on the person. And then somebody else said very little amount of the sperm liter-wise is ejaculated. And then one of the person, which was my favorite, 8 years ago commented, "Who the hell knows this shit?"
Thank you.
Why did he signed up for an account to comment that?
Who the hell does know this shit?
That's
It's
the
all
only
guess.
real one. That's the only real one on the internet.
Yeah.
We gotta have a real scientist on this show, like a biologist that can talk to us about semen.
This is a simple experiment that people
Wait,
can
Billy,
do.
are you a scientist?
No, I'm no scientist.
What else are you know?
Just scientist.
Oh,
I'm
you are everything
I'm
else?
just no scientist. That's why I bring it up so much. Because people expect me to have all of the answers. I'm
Right,
just
of
no
course.
scientist.
This is an experiment you can do at home.
Well, I think I established that we're going to do it.
Yeah,
at
we
your
are
home.
going to do it.
Oh, I'm not talking about the time lapse wet dream thing. I'm talking about masturbating
That's a
into a cup.
GoFundMe that you're gonna.
Yeah, that's a different Indiegogo that I'm setting
Got
up.
it. That's a video podcast.
Yeah.
That's a video podcast.
I'm talking
It's not
about masturbate once every 6 hours for a day.
Right.
Measure the volume.
Okay.
Masturbate once
Oh,
every
I did
24
this.
hours for
I-
a week.
like-
and
oh,
ma-
yeah.
and
You're talking
measure the
like-
volume.
okay.
Then masturbate every 2 days. Is it twice as much as every day? Is it 4 times as much
I don't
as
know if
every
I want to be
6
like
hours?
advising the kids who listen to our podcast to be like ejaculating into vials and
Well,
looking at
it
for
doesn't have to
days.
be a vial. It could be a measuring
comes
cup.
home, cleans the bedroom. Happily? Pat Happily? I saw this ejaculate on
Mom,
your
why do you
desk.
call me by my last name?
Well, you know what, Mom? I am a scientist because this is me testing my hypothesis.
This is
That's
me
the
in
sci-
each of these beakers. That's
Yeah.
a tiny little bit of me and it's a tiny little bit of you,
if
Mom.
you think about it, it's half your DNA.
So you're making this weird right now,
You're
Mom.
the pervert.
Where's your ejaculate, Mom?
Here's what I think this guy could do, because I see that his girlfriend wants there to be like a lot of splooge, right? And I don't think there's really a world where his girlfriend is like looking at her chest and being like, "Oh,
It's a little splooge short this week.
you're a little shy."
Yeah, just like I wouldn't say that you didn't masturbate in
Did
the
you
last.
masturbate 3 days ago?
Right.
Like you can, and there's no need to refuse the proposition, because she's like, "Don't masturbate for an entire month, and we'll see how good it is."
I mean, can you imagine that?
I think if you
That oil derrick explosion.
If you're,
That's
if
not
you
safe.
enjoyed this,
Windows will
if
explode.
you can handle a week, I think he's good. Just a week, and you don't have to refuse the girlfriend. Just it's a white
Abstain
lie.
from masturbating for a week.
It's a clear lie. That's what it is.
What about the bigger issue of this girl telling this guy not to masturbate? Isn't that a baddie?
Yeah, but I think that's more like we have lots of girls that write in and tell their boyfriends not to masturbate.
I feel like that's some subtext of a lot of relationships is like, let's not talk about it, but like, I prefer if you were going to be sexual with me. That
But
was
not
an
even by
agreement we
yourself.
made. I don't
think anybody is that comfortable with the other person masturbating.
Right.
Like, I've never had a girlfriend that was like, "Oh yeah, jerk off as much as you want," but like, I would never ever share my masturbating habits with my significant other and be like, "Am I masturbating too much? Should I
Right.
only be masturbating to pictures of you?" That's just so private.
Yeah, sometimes it helps to have those little secrets.
Yeah,
too. You know, that's like
definitely.
when you're in a long-term relationship, masturbating is the last secret you have.
Right.
Like that's the last moment of
you've had
solitude.
food poisoning and made much more disgusting visuals and yeah.
It's your last little bit of corner of privacy.
Right. Which is why I think it's okay to lie about masturbating. Like, if it's something, it's true she shouldn't care if he masturbates, but it sounds like she cares about it being like a mutually good sexual experience for both of them.
Yeah.
It's like, if you don't, it's not like she's.
But why is it better for her?
But what if it's a power move?
'cause-
What if it's a power move and she just wants to see what she can limit him to do?
Oh, so it's like don't do this
'Cause it's
thing.
not- yeah, just to see if she can
Sacrifice.
actually just to
That's
see-
what she gets off on.
Yeah, exactly. She masturbates to the thought of him not masturbating.
She's a cuckold.
Yeah, she's just at home, like flicking
There-
her bean at the thought of him reading a Mad magazine on a couch. Doing the fold in
He's-
fucking gets her off.
Well, Mad magazines can still be pretty sexy.
Yeah,
I used
honestly,
to jerk off
Alf-
to Mad magazines.
Yeah, the
when I
little
was
space in
little.
between Alfred E. Newman's front teeth. Just like
Jesus.
imagine like titty fucking that.
If you
What?
fold that back page just right, you can see a nipple.
The fat fold in is actually a
Yeah, I
dick.
think it's okay, because she's not saying don't masturbate because I should be the only thing that makes you come. She's saying like, don't masturbate so we can have like really intense sex.
Yeah.
I think what she doesn't necessarily know is if he waited a month, the intense sex would last 2.5
seconds.
seconds.
Intense 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, I think this guy knows his body well enough to be like tempering it. Like, okay, we can make the sex very intense, but I can also maybe have. I can have a little bit of a reserve. I don't need to have like a full overflowing reservoir.
I don't need 30 days.
Yeah.
Can he just like masturbate every day and then take 2 days off?
Probably.
Right. I'm curious what the difference between 30 and like call it 4 days off.
Right.
4
Probably
days.
not.
I want to
Sex
see.
is
I want to
that.
see the line graph, the
That's it,
curve.
yeah.
Where does it plateau?
Also,
Where
to
does
me,
the white
sex
dream
and
arrive?
masturbating they're so different. Than even if I was like masturbating every day for a month and then I got to have sex, I would still feel like it was very intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
especially
you-
if you haven't had sex in a month.
Yeah, a month. Like masturbating and sex are totally different to me. I could have sex and then go home and masturbate. And
What did you once say? The masturbating is what to a meal? Like sex is a meal and masturbating is shitting.
oh yeah,
That's how different they are.
gross. That's not what I. That's not what I said though. I don't know.
No,
what
I
it
said
was.
if sex is a really good meal, what is masturbating? And then you said it's taking a crap
Was it? Did it?
because it feels good. And it has something to do with food.
Oh.
But it's not even like, it's not snacking by yourself.
It's like the fish fillet at McDonald's, where it's like, yeah, you ate it and it was fine, and I guess it filled you up for a second, but like 10 minutes later, you're like, why did I do that?
Oh,
God.
masturbating is way better than a fish fillet. to
yeah, I've
me.
never gotten the fish fillet. That was the wrong example.
That is the weird. You really know a lot about someone if they've had the fish fillet.
That's true.
Because it's not just getting a Filet-o-Fish. It's preferring it to every.
Oh, I
other
always
thing.
get the Filet-o-Fish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you want. You go to
That
McDonald's and you
trumps
want the
any label.
seafood.
That trumps any label about that person. Any interesting quality about them suddenly goes out the window.
I don't want a fried chicken sandwich. I don't want a
If
quarter
you like the
pounder.
Filet-o-Fish, I don't know if I've ever. I feel like if you like the Filet-o-Fish, you have to order it by yourself.
How did you get
You
there?
can't, like,
How
go
did you get
to-
to become that person?
If all of us went to McDonald's and you're like, I'll get a Big Mac, like I'll get chicken nuggets, like, oh, I'll just get the Filet-o-Fish. Everyone would be like, hey, why'd you come with us to McDonald's?
Yeah,
Get out of here, Greg.
You wanted seafood? You wanted a cod?
Filet-o-Fish is something you get alone in the drive-thru.
What's in the batter? What's in your Filet-o-Fish batter?
What's on the sandwich? Isn't it like a tartar sauce and a pickle?
I think that's like why people like it. Hey, you know what, dudes? After this, let's all go get Filet-o-Fish.
No, I think I'd be violently sick if I had fish.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna tweet a picture, everybody.
Have you
That's a
ever
great
seen-
idea.
Have you ever seen somebody order a Filet-o-Fish?
I haven't been to McDonald's in a long time, except when we went kind of during the Smile Time visit, and I ate your fries.
That's right.
But if you guys all want to get Filet-o-Fishes after this, I'm down. I'm on record right now as saying that Billy's thrown his hat in the ring. He would eat a Filet-o-Fish if you guys eat a Filet-o-Fish.
Have you ever had a Filet-o-Fish?
Never in my life.
Have you ever had a Filet-o-Fish?
No.
Have you ever had a McRib?
No.
Have you ever had a McRib?
I had one bite of a McRib. It's the most disgusting thing I've ever eaten in my whole
That's funny
entire
because
life.
I love the McRib.
It's so fucking.
Is
funny.
McRib season? Isn't
No.
that a seasonal treat?
It is.
Come on, after this,
It is a
let's the
gourd.
three of
It
us
is
go
a
to-
squash.
Let's go to McDonald's. We'll get a Filet-o-Fish. This episode's already going to be called Filet-o-Fish.
Seriously.
We'll get one. We don't all have to eat. We'll each
I'll
take
eat
a bite
the
of a Filet-o-Fish.
Filet-o-Fish.
Okay.
Will you take a bite?
I'll take a bite out of. Oh, can you imagine?
It
eating
seems like such a
seafood
fun,
from
good idea to
McDonald's?
me now.
So this-
we are going to be in a drive-thru at McDonald's eating a Filet-o-Fish in a bit.
Two things. One, yes, I'm in.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
Two, I listened to your Halloween episode a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And didn't you guys have a pre-Halloween and post-Halloween
Exactly,
bench
yeah.
to it?
Oh, we should do that with the Filet-o-Fish.
I'm just saying, now you're doing it with fish. Now you're doing it
Whoa,
with battered McDonald's
That is
fish.
not a bad idea.
This is a new thing for the podcast.
You know who I know loves the Filet-o-Fish, and I don't mind throwing this person under the bus. But do you know who?
No.
Streeter.
Streeter?
Yeah. Because he loves seafood.
No.
Yeah.
And so
Streeter
he
loves
he
food
thinks-
in general.
He
Right.
thinks Filet-o-Fish is seafood. He would call it seafood.
I call it seafood.
It's a chicken sandwich. It's a
It's interesting though because Streeter likes. I feel like Streeter likes burgers more than seafood.
Right. And yet here we are. I bet he, yeah. All right. Filet-o-Fish. So what are we telling this person?
I think he can get away with.
Filet-o-Fish.
Get the Filet-o-Fish. I think he can get off with. Get off literally. You know what I'm saying? He can masturbate. A week before he goes
Yes.
home. And like this, because he's already said this time the sex was awesome. Like it'll do this from now on.
White lies are perfectly fine sometimes.
Yeah.
And especially when they're semen white. Just a liquid white lie.
Have
Yeah.
you guys ever used the word smoke show before?
We have on the show, yeah.
Oh, that's a
where it
phrase by
comes
you
up.
guys. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
smoke show.
Sorry to not be familiar with your catalog.
We actually took
Fine.
that.
You should have. We told you to listen to every episode before you got here.
I know. What is this, 183?
Yeah.
115 plus Halloween.
Should we answer another masturbation question, or should we deviate from that and then come back to it later?
My call?
Yeah.
Your call.
Let's leave the masturbation arena and see what else is out there.
And then we'll come back.
So this one is
We'll
about.
revisit, see where masturbation.
Promise.
This
Promise.
one's just about female masturbation. Then, no. This it has nothing to do with masturbating.
Great.
Give this guy. Oh no, you know what? This guy gave himself a great name, and I'll say it at the end.
Beautiful.
It's a dude. This just happened to me literally an hour ago. I was working at my job in retail, and a trio of girls walked by. For the moment being, I paid them no mind. A few minutes went by, and they came up to me and asked me where something was. I told them, and then went back to my work. A few more minutes go by, and they do the same thing, and I do the same. The third time's the charm, as one of them came up and asked for my number. Dumbfounded, having never had this happen to me before, I panicked and gave her my number instead of a fake or just downright refusing her. Now here's my dilemma. This girl isn't particularly attractive, and to be honest, neither am I. So I'm asking you dapper gentlemen whether or not I should bone this crone. I'm not sure this will ever happen to me again. I'm a virgin, and I'm 17 years old if that changes anything. Sincerely, Borf.
That's got to be his real name.
Borf.
Sincerely, Borf.
That may be the name of the episode.
Shit. Should we all go to McDonald's and order a Borf?
From the secret menu?
A Filet-o-Borf. Isn't the Filet-o-Fish on a patty, or on a bun that doesn't exist on any other sandwich?
Oh, a
Like,
unique
I
patty.
imagine it on like
This
a
is
square
where all of our
bun.
questions will be answered in
Like,
time.
what bun doesn't have any sesame seeds on it except for the Filet-o-Fish bun?
I choose to believe it's the lowest ranking bun, and they were like, put it with the lowest ranking sandwich meat, Filet-o-Fish.
I'm so excited to have a Filet-o-Fish.
Oh, I just pulled up a photo. There's a slice of American cheese on it.
What? On the
Yes,
fish?
it's-
Who doesn't melt cheese on a fish?
That's
Yeah.
the Filet-o-Fish?
McDonald's is hoping you only
There's
taste
no
the cheese.
Oh my goodness.
And look at this bun, the plainest bun you can possibly have.
it is so
it's
gross.
almost pure
Niacin.
white.
And this is like, that's the stock photo. That like effort went into making that
Right.
look good. Like that's not the Filet-o-Fish we're going to get.
Yeah, this
color
is the
correct.
in
best.
Glendale.
It is all tan. It's all tan everything.
It's the same color from bun to meat and back.
It's funny that we just read another question, but are not even attempting. Like we're just still. We just knew it was time to answer another question, but we did not want to stop talking about Filet-o-Fish.
If you're unattractive, do you become attracted to unattractive people?
Unattractive, so relative.
That's true.
That's you shouldn't label yourself that, and you shouldn't label someone else that. Because
That's very
within
nice of
5 minutes of talking to someone, of like real, authentic conversation, they look completely different.
Wow, that's a really good theory.
Yeah.
It's completely untrue, but that's really
yeah, like what if
interesting.
they're a real dog?
Yeah, like if they're actually ugly.
Yeah,
then
Billy.
I don't
but like
actually
real
see-
meaningful conversation, you're talking to a real meaningfully ugly person.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
that's true.
because they have to be good conversationalists because they're so downright ugly.
And if you close your eyes, everyone's beautiful. So
Well, evolutionarily speaking, right? Like, don't you have to lower your standards to find a mate so you can procreate? Like, isn't there something hardwired into our monkey brains that would be like,
yeah.
oh, I can't get with
fascinating.
this like leader of the pack, so I'm like, I set
I'm
my
now-
sights lower
right.
and lower and lower.
and lower still. But I think there's always like, you're always trying to get out of your league, but maybe there's just sort of like your base gets lower.
Would you rather date someone who's so much more attractive than you that it's like a weird thing that everyone's like,
100%.
look,
Yes.
why is that guy with her?
Yes,
Yes.
because that's going to end, but the time that it's alive is going to be great.
Beautiful.
Great.
A shooting star. And what's the other option? A
Not?
meaningful soulmate connection with somebody.
Yeah, someone that you
fuck
see
off
like
with that.
that.
Like somebody who gets you no,
Down the
fuck
road.
off.
That's down the road.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll retire then.
And this 11, does she have a perfect ass?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my goodness! And I can see her naked whenever I want.
yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. What is there? There's another option.
I guess it's
Kill
finding
myself. I hope.
So should this guy just go for it? What do you?
Yes, of course. He's just judging her on physical appearance right now, but if he already sees himself as unattractive, then this person may very well make him feel attractive by being kind to him and showing him love.
Oh.
Roll the dice, dude.
First of all, what's a crone? He said, "Bone this crone." I just don't know what a crone is. Should I?
Probably an ugly person.
Is it just a rhyme that he made up, though, or is crone like a real?
What is crone possibly short for?
Yeah, I'd like to know.
Maybe
Let's
she has
see.
Crohn's
Before I
disease.
weigh in too much.
Crone, an old woman who is an old woman who is thin and ugly.
Rude.
She has to be old, thin, and ugly. There's a word for 3 adjectives.
He really knew his vocabulary to describe this woman.
You're a crone. Like, no, I'm only old and ugly. I'm very fat.
I'm thick.
It's like a character in folklore, like the old spindly lady.
Yeah,
Right.
sure, Stregonona.
That like curses somebody.
Yeah.
So
She'll often curse you thin and old.
One, I don't think that he can necessarily have sex with this girl right away.
Right, that's a bit
She
presumptuous.
gave him her number, and for him to say, "Should I fuck this ugly girl?"
What she was saying was, meet me at Auntie Anne's. Let's get a pretzel.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds so much better than the Filet-o-Fish we're gonna have.
Can we let? She's saying like, "Hey, do you want to get to know me? Do you want to date me?" And it sounds like he's a virgin. Doesn't at the very least doesn't have any experience with
Right.
dating. So you might as well like see what's up.
Right.
Then I guess on the flip side is like, if you are a virgin and you want to have sex with someone, maybe he just should not text her and try to find somebody that he wants to fuck.
Right. And it's also about experience. It sounds like this is the first time he's ever received a phone number. It's like, why not ride that wave for a second as opposed to shutting the door and then just saying, no, that wasn't good enough for me.
Yeah.
It's like, keep the door open, see what it is, and then
that's
you'll have
true.
that much more experience.
Flirt and text and date and do all that stuff because right now, at the very least, the stakes are low. You don't want to
Exactly.
like get that number that you really don't want to fuck up, and then
Yep.
you're like, uh-oh, I don't know how to text or what to do.
Totally. And you want to have comparative analysis for any single relationship. So it's like if you have a bunch behind you, you've learned something inevitably, why you broke up,
Right.
why you weren't happy in it, whatever it is. Is if you just say no at the gate every time, you're not going to get anything out of it.
Do you have an example of saying yes or no to something that you can share with us in any way? Have you ever said begrudgingly yes because you're like, oh, maybe I'll like it?
Almost any single job I take in the comedy realm starts off as a yes, I'll do that. And then the second I get on set and have to dress up like a wacky mad scientist or like a gift
So you are a
box,
scientist.
just in acting. I
yeah.
am not a scientist. No, I guess that in like relationships, I find this is the thing that they teach you in comedy and improv and at UCB is to always say yes. The second you say no, you just shut off so much more opportunity, and it just makes a much more. You lose all of the periphery in your life. You start just living a very like narrow-minded life.
Right.
And I've kind of been raised with the say yes at first, and the second it starts feeling wrong, then allow yourself to say no.
Oh.
But if you say no out the gate, then you have no idea. There could have been so many interesting things behind that door. So no, I don't have a
really
specific
nice.
example, but I would encourage everyone to be brave and say yes at first.
I like that lifestyle. Be brave, say yes. That's
Yeah.
kind of nice. I like the. I am brave.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the second it's bad.
That's
no. I'm
I'm a coward. I'm a coward.
Yep. Nope.
That's what you should say to her face. She's like, do you want to go out sometime? And you should take a deep breath and go, I am brave.
No.
Yes.
I only date crones.
Well, good luck, Borf.
Yeah. All right.
That's me too.
Let's take a quick break, thank a few other sponsors, and then we'll be right back with Billy.
Great.
Thanks as well to ClubW.com for sponsoring this episode.
Very major gracias to you. We drank your wine last night at our party.
We highly appreciate it. For 9,000 years, humans have been making wine.
Yeah.
And that's how long they've been confused about what to drink. Club W makes it easier. It's easy to be overwhelmed when going to a wine store. You walk around, you're like, I don't know what these words are. I
Right.
don't know what's good.
What's
I have a $30
Cabernet?
bill. Just give
What's
me
a
the best
Sauvignon?
one for that.
Can I have a
much.
Malbec?
I think I like it sweet. Maybe I like it dry. What does a full body mean anyway? Club W simplifies all that. This is what they do. You go to clubw.com and answer a 6 simple question quiz, and their algorithm creates a palate profile just for you.
Yeah, you got to know what you like when it comes to wine.
And you don't have to say this is exactly what I like when it comes to wine. They'll just say, like, do you like sweet? Do you like salty? Do you like vanilla? Do you like chocolate? What's your favorite ice cream flavor? And suddenly, you have a palate profile, and they're sending wine directly to your door that's perfectly customized to match your taste.
That's going to make you look good to the other ladies and the gentlemen in your lives that
And
you're
if-
trying to impress.
There's no risk. It's 100% guaranteed that you'll love what they send you.
Yeah, because you love wine.
Exactly. And now, if you go to clubw.com/ifiwereyou, you'll get 50% off your first order.
Well, you're welcome.
That's clubw.com/ifiwereyou to get 50% off your first order. It's a great gift for yourself and also a great gift for somebody else.
Yeah, dude. I love a subscription service that gets you drunk.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want a gift to get somebody else in your life drunk, That's clubw.com/ifiwereyou and get 50% off your first order. Stop wasting your time and money messing around at retail stores and start drinking wine you know you're going to love.
Yeah, dude.
Check them out. clubw.com/ifiwereyou. Thank you as well to Squarespace for sponsoring this episode.
That's what's up.
Squarespace, in case, in the off chance that you don't know how to program full professionally looking designed websites.
Like I do.
Right.
Because I know how to do that, but I recognize most people
Most people
aren't good
might
coders.
not be able to. If you are ever in the need to create your own...
Actually, I would be down to do it for a fee.
Yeah. well, Squarespace is actually very affordable.
Yeah, well, so am I.
Yeah. How much do you charge to build a website?
$1,000 an hour.
Okay, so this is as low as
Trust me,
$8 a month.
it's worth it.
Squarespace will build your website for you. It'll help you build it. It's easy drag and drop technology. They have intuitive, easy to use tools, and their sites just straight up look
I
good.
do tools on my shit too.
Right.
If you guys want, you can
But
use Squarespace.
Okay.
Or I'm just saying I can be contracted because I'll use drag and drop shit as well.
Right. Okay. Well, I have a feeling you're just going to use Squarespace.
Yeah,
You're
Mike,
charging people thousands of dollars.
I might upsell them.
Squarespace it's a low monthly fee, and if you
Trust
go to
me, I know, dude.
squarespace.com/ifiwereyou and use our offer code ifiwereyou, all one word, you get 10% off your first purchase. So if you find yourself in need of building a website for yourself or your loved ones, whether it be an online portfolio or a website about something or a store even,
Yeah.
Squarespace makes it all very easy to build, and it just looks great. It's the most affordable solution out there. Millions of people use it, so you can trust it. If 1 million people do something, you can pretty much trust it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not being very risky. It's a very safe way to trust something.
You're honestly being a little bit of a poser at that point.
It's like, I'm going to let 1 million people try this thing, and they all did well, and you're like, all right, let me get a crack at it. That's what Squarespace is. So squarespace.com, use our offer code ifiwereyou to build your first beautiful website. Oh, and if you sign up for a year, you'll get a free domain name. But I know what you're thinking. All the good domain names are taken.
Yeah, it's not true because, well, I don't know if anybody ended up buying Dante Stole My Wife,
I don't know
which
if
I
they
gave
did.
away last time.
Every time we promote Squarespace, we offer up a domain name that is still available at the time of recording. Mine is purplecd.com.
Perfect.
If in case you ever wanted to have a website about a purple CD,
Right.
that's a purplecd.com.
Or if you're in a band and you're releasing a CD and it's called Purple.
Yeah, that's perfect for you.
That's really, yeah.
And what's your URL that you're providing?
My man Tom. My man Tom.
.org.
Say a guy named Dante stole your wife.
All right, you're
And a
painting
guy named
story.
Dante stole your fife, and a man named Dante caused you strife.
Yeah.
All websites available, but the only solace you have is your man Tom. You want to make him a website to let him know how much you appreciate him.
So if you want to build a website, mymantom.com, purplecd.com, or anything you want.
MymanTom.com rhymes, and that's pretty cool.
mymantom.com. Oh, that's
Yeah.
good, yeah. Everything available for you at squarespace.com. Use the offer code ifiwereyou so they know that we sent you. Squarespace, build it beautiful. Let's get back to Billy. And we're back.
All right.
Billy, what is it like being the commissioner and host of a fantasy football podcast?
It is. At first, I didn't know what I was getting myself into because fantasy football is kind of fun on its own. You might not need to talk about it every single week on a podcast.
Sure.
But I will say that it has been a really fun and rewarding way to keep in touch with people you otherwise wouldn't.
True.
It has been a really fun challenge for me to become a better host
Oh.
and to see what it takes to run an interesting podcast.
Yeah.
I think the worst podcasts are ones that aren't bad but boring.
Wow.
Where after a few minutes you're like, I just want to turn this off.
Right.
And so
you realize you've been zoning out.
Exactly, where it's just a wash of sound after a while. So it's been a really fun and interesting test for me to try and find ways of keeping it energetic and successful, and it's been really rewarding. I
Yeah.
really appreciate it. Thanks for letting me do it.
Of course. I got back into fantasy this year to be on the podcast. And I
Yeah.
was like, ooh, I'm going to take it easy. I'm not going to get as into it. But then I got entirely 100% into it.
Addiction is real.
I'm in the league. Pat Castles is in the league.
That's right.
A bunch of other of our friends, George Basil,
Yep.
you,
Me.
Who's in first place?
Billy is.
I am.
Really?
Yeah.
Commit.
Oh wait, who has the most points? I do.
I'm yours in
I didn't
fourth.
say that.
And he's in fourth.
But that is the fantasy life that I lead.
Yeah. But I would encourage people to check it out. It's not, if you're not into fantasy football, at times it may be a little over your head, but ultimately the people in the league are very captivating and interesting people, and they all make for a good listen.
Yeah.
So you'll find interesting things outside of football. But if you are a football fan, we do speak your language.
Yes, it's total. It's a great these are friends, funny people talking about football and fantasy specifically.
Right. Because
So-
we don't pretend to be experts
No.
at fantasy football. We are people who are enjoying it and talking about it with a little bit of insight.
There are no experts. There are just people who play it a lot
That's right.
and read Roto World.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're totally right. I agree.
And you're in the top 1% already.
That's it.
Yeah.
So call me Commish.
So if you know who Sharkandrick West is, I think you'd like the podcast.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's on the HeadGum Network, headgum.com.
Yep.
And on Twitter, HeadGum FFL, right?
Correct.
Very
Awesome.
nice.
Check it out. Have you ever been to Philadelphia?
Yes.
We're going to Philadelphia
When?
this week. When this podcast comes out on Monday, we'll be there on Wednesday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you guys been to Philadelphia?
Yeah.
I believe our first live show ever was in Philly.
That's true. At
LaSalle
LaSalle That's
University.
Nice.
We were so
well,
nervous.
that was our
right?
first ever like traveling
College
live
show.
because I think we did one at that like cupcake thing at
Oh yeah, and down at some place in New York,
yeah, I forget where it was.
some place in the Lower East Side.
Yeah,
How big was that show at LaSalle? Do you remember, like, just generally, is it as big as your
Oh,
shows
it was
are now?
huge.
Was it like a lot
I
of
think
people?
It was like
400
a
people came.
It was like a College Humor live show. I think John Mulaney was on it,
It was an amazing. It was John Mulaney, Dan Levy, and Christian Finnegan, or something.
and
Sure.
us,
Sure.
and
and
us.
and two 24-year-olds that didn't know what they were doing.
But I bet the crowd wanted to see you guys the most.
That's a good question. I
Did
don't
you
know.
guys
It was-
did you guys
there-
go last?
we did not headline. We
Mulaney.
did-
Yeah.
Yeah, Mulaney headlined, and man, his shit's so funny.
I know, it's
But
incredible.
like that was the first that we like. There were like people after the show that wanted our picture, and that was like fucking crazy to us. That
Yeah.
was, it was great. It was a good
Harvard
time.
Sailing Team just did a show at University of South Carolina a couple weeks ago, or maybe a month ago or something. And when we were taking pictures with the kids afterwards, I saw a poster of both of you guys on the wall from when you guys had performed there.
Oh, shit.
And I sent it to Amir, and he goes, "Huh, I didn't know we performed at University of South Carolina."
Did you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Go
so did I.
Gamecocks.
That was we went
Go Cox.
we went to the beach. It's near the beach, right?
Let's say yeah. We were there for a day.
I got a Mustang. Remember that?
That was that. It wasn't UNC Wilmington when you got a Mustang.
Oh shit! Was it UNC Wilmington? Never mind.
I played against the University of South Carolina in rugby about 8 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. No, definitely more than that, like probably 12 years ago. And two things. One, they still had the Confederate flag over the state capitol. Super weird to see.
Yeah.
It wasn't weird to anyone else except me. We've moved past that. And secondly, on the field, I got into a bit of a pushing match with this dude from University of South Carolina, and he called me a Yankee.
Wow.
And he just said Yankee, like that was like going to hurt my feelings.
And you were really proud of that fact.
Who cares? Yankee?
Well, that's the best thing you could be.
A northerner.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. We won the war. You follow our lead. Yeah. So that's my University
so
of South
weird.
Carolina. You asked me about Philly, and I told you about University of South Carolina.
You played rugby? What's for college?
Yeah. I played rugby for 3 years, and then I transferred to be a music major, and they made me stop doing rugby because I would break my fingers.
What school?
This was at Hofstra.
You were a college rugby player.
Yeah. So I played a couple of years at this small school, Towson, in Maryland.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
I went to Hofstra when I started interning at SNL, so I had to move back to New York. And so then I went to Hofstra.
It's funny because you are the strongest person I know right now.
Right.
And you're saying you were even bigger in college.
Yeah, I weighed like 25 more pounds.
And it was
great.
just muscle.
Yeah.
How much do you weigh now?
182. I was about 205.
Jesus Christ!
But it was like
I
goon.
can't imagine
like
you more muscly.
Have you ever seen a picture of that like muscly dog on the internet? It's like a pit bull or something. It has like big muscles in
Yeah.
weird places. It was like that kind of guy.
where did you have where do you think you lost that 25 pounds?
my
from?
shoulders? My shoulders literally touched my ears.
I wanna,
You were
do have a
always
picture of
shrugging.
yourself?
My mom has lots of pictures of that because
Oh,
she was
I wanna see that
fascinated. She's
so
like, "What is
bad."
happening with my son right now?"
How did you do that? How did you gain 25? Because what were you like in high school? Were you closer to now or closer
No,
to...
yeah, like probably 170. But we had 7 meal days, so they would give us 7 meals a day. We would have like practice once or twice a day, and they would just try and pound us with food. And all of our meals were like, they'd be like always 40 grams of protein in every single meal. It'd be like cottage cheese, 2 eggs, a banana, and like some sort of sugary thing. And you'd have that like a 10, 1, 4, 7, 10, and 1 again.
So
And
by
then
the
you'd
end of
go
the
to
day,
bed.
we're just like fucking ready to throw up?
No, because we were playing rugby for 2 hours and then working out for another 2 hours. So it was just like,
God.
by the end of it, I was just like kind of like a maniac.
You were a
know, it was
machine.
like,
You were a machine.
Like,
Yeah.
food is just gasoline for your body.
it was
at that
all
point.
fuel. And then we would play the Naval Academy. One time we played the nation of Samoa in rugby. So it's like you literally needed every pound you
Were you the biggest guy on your team?
No, I was the wing, which is like the fast guy on the team. So there was dudes on my team who were 260 pounds, 280 pounds, and then there's dudes, of course, on the other team who were that much weight.
How tall are you? 6'4"?
Yeah,
4?
No, 6 feet.
Really?
Flat.
I don't know why you just. I think because
You're the
so
second
muscly.
person who asked me if I'm 6'4". That's so great. My friend's
You're
girlfriend just asked me that.
So Jake is taller than you, but because you're so fit, you just appear to be the perfect height, 6'4".
I'll take it.
So I should, dude. I want to fucking get jacked like that.
What is it? What did you say you ate? So,
An egg? I'll eat an egg right now.
Scooping
I'll
cottage
cottage cheese into my mouth,
not working out at all.
doing a push-up,
Dude, Billy, I'm 208. I think
and
I'm
it's all
buff
in my
now.
ass, dude.
What happened? What's rugby?
I
Wide
have
leg
diarrhea
jeans,
all
everything
the
changes.
time.
He's just eating Filet-o-Fish nonstop.
He's wearing a rugby shirt.
Am I jacked, Amir? Oh, am I jacked? My heart hurts.
God, that's
That was
awesome.
a good time in my life, though. That was really fun.
Did you ever get injured?
Yes. One time I thought I broke my arm, but I had just kind of displaced my elbow for a second, but it popped back in. That was gnarly. But the rugby team got into a fight with the football team once,
Whoa.
which is totally like, if you've ever seen that video online where it's like the Battle of Kruger, where it's just like the crocodiles fight the buffalo, and then out of nowhere, like the mountain lions show up, and it's just literally two massive groups of men faced off against one another because
Where? Just like in a field somewhere?
on the street, it was the day after Halloween, on Halloween night.
That's almost like this must be the anniversary.
This was, oh yeah, we're right around that time. Yeah,
Yeah.
this was one of the scariest days of my life. I've had a couple really scary days. This was one where I was like, people might die here right now. It was
Oh.
pretty wild. But someone threw a glass bottle across the street, just missed us, and my friend at the time, who was playing rugby and very aggressive, just charged that group and just started a fight, like a huge physical fight. And so I ran in to just try and start pulling guys off, and that's always the guy who gets blindsided. So
Oh, no.
they broke my nose and gave me a concussion in one punch. So the next day, I'm living at the rugby house, and I'm just like comatose when all of a sudden we get a rap on our door. And I can't go downstairs because I can barely like move my eyes left to right. And someone opens it up, and then you just see him walk back up the stairs, and he just looks in our bedroom and says, "It's the football team." And it was on, dude. It was really seriously scary, and there was like weird racial things involved. So that's when you want to be 205 pounds in situations.
Did you
like,
have to get out of bed to go down to the?
I couldn't. So this was my second concussion in a very short amount of time. I literally couldn't move my eyes left to right without vomiting. So the best I could do was look out my bedroom window at just like the growing number of pickup trucks that were parked illegally on our street that like did not care about traffic law right now. It was so wild.
So what ended up happening?
The two captains, poetically, met in the middle. They literally walked outside of their groups and met in the middle. They talked through every single thing. The football team had claimed that there was like racial epithets involved and all this kind of stuff. And I was kind of the pet on the team because it was obvious that I was going to be the comedian. Like, of all these really aggressive dudes, they kind of protected Billy. And when Billy got hit, they were just they wanted to fight anything in sight. And so, long story short, it was very peaceful.
Keep the story as long as you want.
So it was very peaceful, and that day ended. Like 2 weeks later, though, I was walking through campus. It was about a couple days after the fight that I could kind of get my eyes back together and walk through campus again. I saw the other dude who had did it to me. He was on the football team. He was wearing football gear, and he had a black eye, and he was missing teeth. And I hadn't been to rugby practice, for like a week. I go back to rugby practice the following week because I actually went home to New York. And when I came back, it turns out that they had jumped the kid at a bar and just teed off all over him.
For you?
For me, yeah. It was
And they
pretty
didn't even
wild.
tell you?
No one even, because I went home to New York. And so as soon as I went to campus and I saw him, I was like, oh, this is weird. And we didn't like look at each other or anything.
So did you feel bad for that kid, or were you like, yeah,
No, I
that's
didn't.
what you get?
No, yeah, I was playing rugby at the time. It was very fight oriented. Everything was like fight forward. Wow. And so it was just like, yes, like my brothers have my back. This
God,
is awesome.
We had the opposite college experience.
Yeah.
So when I was 19, I
So
weighed
Oprah and
104
Pablo.
pounds. I made slideshows with my friends, and nobody had very much more than slapped me ever, even as a joke.
Well, then I transferred to the music department, and suddenly I couldn't play rugby anymore because I would break my little fingers. That's what they said. So
What music did you play?
I was a piano major. I was a creative writing and piano double major.
And then you were just also getting into rugby.
So will you play the
fights.
piano?
I could play it much better then. I can fake it now.
Wow.
Jesus, that's so funny. You're so muscly.
Exactly. I know.
This is Jake on a date. You're so jacked, dude. That's
Can I tie you to a bed and see if you come in a month? Man.
It's my friend Amir's idea, I swear.
I would feel bad if we didn't at least mention that we're also going to Muhlenberg College.
Oh,
so this week we're doing 3 shows, William.
Let's hear it.
Tuesday at Muhlenberg College.
Where is that?
That's
Is that also in
tomorrow.
Philadelphia?
When this episode comes out, that is tomorrow.
Right.
At Muhlenberg College.
And
Very
that's
exciting.
So this episode comes
That's
out.
a hometown show for me, by the way.
Hell yeah.
Really? I didn't know you're from Allentown.
Well, it's a homecoming show in a way because I went to college there.
Nice.
Well, you dropped out of college after 8 months.
We'll
so I
talk about
wouldn't say-
this during the show.
So Monday,
And I didn't drop out. I failed out. So
Monday
I
the
resent
9th.
The accusation.
They
Monday
dropped
the-
me.
I wasn't allowed to come back. All right?
Oh wait, this show at Muhlenberg is Tuesday the 10th. Next day we're at Helium Comedy Club in Philadelphia. That show might be sold out, might be not by the time this reaches
And if
the
you're under
airwaves.
18, there's a loophole where you can get in if a 25-year-old brings you in.
Right.
And
And you can drink, then,
Yeah.
right? If a
Yeah.
25-year-old brings you in, then
long as you show
18-year-olds
up
can
wasted.
drink.
And if you're 21 and over, you're good to go. That show's Wednesday, 11/11. And then Thursday, our show in Brooklyn is sold out, but it's going to be a fun one.
And
in
they might
Brooklyn?
release more tickets, I heard.
Oh,
Nice.
well, so
Keep your eye on that. I don't know if it's true.
Where in Brooklyn?
Williamsburg. That's
What-
the other
what
homecoming
theater?
show for me.
It's called the Hall at MP.
Is that the Music Hall of Williamsburg?
It's not the Music Hall of Williamsburg. It's on Driggs instead of North 6.
Okay.
Somewhere. I don't know where.
Oh, that's going to be great, you guys.
Yeah.
Go back to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Oh, the air is the best in
know.
Brooklyn. The
That's-
people are the most beautiful in
I
Brooklyn.
know,
Brooklyn
dude.
is great.
I fucking love Brooklyn.
That's where our
Holy
podcast
shit.
started.
Brooklyn.
Really?
Yeah.
It's true.
183 episodes ago, you
Yeah.
guys did the same exact thing in Brooklyn.
And now we're back.
Amazing.
So hopefully we'll get to see people there.
Awesome.
As for this episode, do you have time to answer one last question?
Perfect.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
We need a guy's name.
Patrick Mayonnaise.
Wow.
Patrick Happily and Patrick Mayonnaise.
The Patrick brothers.
Patty Mayonnaise brother.
My sister is 31 and engaged to her boyfriend of almost 2 years. I know she loves him, and I think he's a cool guy, too. They are both very religious, and I'm certain that they haven't had any sort of sexual interaction. They're saving themselves for marriage. Here's
a lot
the
of cum stored up in that guy.
Here's the wrinkle. Yeah, can you imagine not masturbating for 31 years?
That's another big water balloon.
He's gonna get a paper cut and just fucking like a spigot. Shoot
The thing that cum
semen
is
out.
just like floating around your body. It can come out your belly button, your eyelid.
a slit in your finger. Here's the wrinkle.
Your
The other
skin
day,
only exists to keep the cum in.
it's a water balloon of cum.
Sorry, go ahead.
Here's the wrinkle. The other day, I played tennis with my brother-in-law, to be. After the game in the clubhouse changing room, I saw his penis. The penis as yet unseen by my sister. Very bad news. Approx 1 inch limp. I can't imagine it being more than 3 inches hard. Size may not matter, but this is extreme. I want my sister to have a fulfilling marriage. I want to tell her so that she can drop this baby man. Should I? Love, Patrick Mayonnaise.
Yo, I think. Okay, do you guys want to go first? I'm feeling a little hostile.
Yeah. I
Billy just
one
punched
quick-
Jake.
Fight forward. One quick point that I want to make is that I think no matter what you told your sister about the size of her husband-to-be's penis, she's not going to break up with him.
Yeah, imagine.
So, like, you're not going to stop the marriage. So you
Correct.
might as well not bring it up.
That's
But
a very good place to start.
there's other reasons not to say anything, and I'll let Amir or you take over. If you're feeling, are you cooled down?
Yeah, I'm cooled down. I think that took the edge off of what I was going to say.
Which is what?
Every relationship will transcend sex at some point. Any meaningful, long-lasting relationship will transcend sex over time. So it seems like a lot of these questions are always about like the jumpstart, the immediate, the sexual. Like
Yeah.
he has a small penis. This might not work.
Yeah.
Or like she gave me her number in the mall. This why would this work?
Right.
It's like I think that like
I need to store all my cum.
right, like this might not work. I think that you have to think about relationships from a real macro, take a step back point of view.
Which is
When it's love, not lust. It's clearly this relationship has been love, not lust for the first 2 years that they haven't had sex yet.
True.
So if you see something that you shouldn't have seen, if you had a small penis, a huge penis, you have to assume that there's much more to this relationship than that.
That they've got it all figured out. There's a huge chance that he already confided in his wife-to-be that his dick's really small.
Right.
But I would also mention that many people are growers, not showers, and an inch-long penis very well could stretch to a 6-inch-long penis.
Okay, then.
Like, he might be fine.
So, yeah, who
You don't
knows?
know enough because you saw,
Yeah.
like...
What if
yeah,
he was
you're right.
playing
He saw his
tennis?
his sister's boyfriend's flaccid dick, and he feels like he's got this duty.
All the information. He has
Right.
to suddenly bring this to her.
Yeah, it's not true, necessarily.
Yeah.
I don't know about 1 and 6, but perhaps this was a 2-incher, and that can grow to 5.
You gotta think about it, too. Like, when you... Sometimes after you exercise, your dick shrivels up a little bit, and your nuts get really
Especially
hard.
if it's cold out.
Yeah.
They're playing outdoor tennis.
And then surrounded by, like, if he's got a lot of pubic hair, it might look small inside there. You know, like... He didn't inspect the dick as much as he might like to think.
That's a good point. And I wonder, he could have had 9 inches of pubic hair and maybe a 9-inch, 10-inch penis. you
Yeah.
know?
Who
It's like
knows?
the question is, how long was the pubic hair? That's what I would
Let
ask
me ask.
Patrick Mayonnaise.
There are times that
He
I
says
would not
8
want...
inches.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's a 9-inch penis. My advice would be to shave the pubic hair, and he's got an anaconda in his pants.
Remove the thicket. He's just seeing the part of the snake that's coming out of
Unleash
the
the
That's
bush.
what I was saying.
Jeez.
That's just the one that's peeking out.
Yeah.
There's a whole body to that animal.
It's an iceberg. You can't be like, that's a 1-inch iceberg. No, it's a 20-inch
The
iceberg.
majority of the iceberg is below water.
Yeah, like I start measuring my dick from inside my body because that's where it technically starts.
Oh, smart.
Yeah, through my asshole.
Yeah.
And then out the other side, 7 inches.
I'm no scientist, but that sounds like a logical way of doing it.
Either way, I think we're all in agreement that this guy is under no obligation to tell his sister.
No obligation
I'm not sure yeah.
whatsoever.
At the very like you can. There's a million reasons not to say anything, but I think the real kernel of the it does no good.
It won't affect
his
the outcome.
intentions are honorable. He wants to like
Correct.
He wants his sister to have a lot of orgasms.
Have it all.
and I love that about him. I truly do. But this does no good for anybody. To say your husband to be has a small dick,
You're so
it
right
makes
about that.
everyone feel bad.
I think
Everything's
that's the
bad.
best advice that I've heard on this topic so far. It does no
What
one
about when I
any
said that
good.
he might have a big dick?
That was fine too. But just think about the 3 parties in question right now. Tell me who comes out on top.
Yeah, that's,
if
it's
this
a triple
information
lose.
The dude, the guy who's getting married, clearly gets hit.
Yeah.
Right. Oh
The
my
one-
God. By like from 2 angles, because it's like, oh, my brother-in-law thinks I have a tiny dick and I can't please my wife. And my wife thinks I have a small dick and I can't please. Like
Totally.
yeah.
Then there's
and
the
hey,
sister.
I have a small dick. So
then there's
bad.
the sister who has this now burden of having to just like walk through why my husband having a small dick will be okay for me to her brother. So
Yeah.
she's not coming out on top.
Right, like seeing her brother at like in the wedding party, just like standing next to her husband, shaking his head.
If anybody has any objections, I had one.
Like this presumes
And he has 1 inch.
Dean.
This
Take off the
presumes
tuxedo.
if they were to break up, if this couple were to break up because of what this kid said, this then presumes that every next guy she goes out with will have to show him
Yeah.
his dick to see if it's okay for his sister.
At the very least.
Yeah.
You passed the dick test.
Yeah, that's complicated. I'd say hold on to that piece of 1-inch information.
That tiny little bit.
There you have it. Hold on to the information.
Hold on to that.
Awesome. Thank you. And thanks, Billy, for coming on the show.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Do you have anything you want to plug? People will be listening to this.
Aside from the Melissa Etheridge concert that you're going to.
Yeah, I don't think it's sold out. So if you can get down to Morongo by this Saturday, which is exactly -2 days from the day that this podcast comes out,
Go back in time.
you can go on YouTube and see some old videos by Harvard Sailing Team. Please go to the Headgum Fantasy Football League, which is a part of this network. That would be
Sweet.
great because we would really like for you to contribute.
There might be a new episode either Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, right around this time when this comes out, there should be a look for a new Headgum Fantasy Football League. And yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Billy Scafuri. Good luck spelling my last name.
It's not going to happen, dude. Try as you might. It's
Will you
def-
post on your Twitter, 1, a picture of the Filet-o-Fish that we're about to go get?
I will.
All
And
right.
2, a picture of you at your beefiest when you were in college?
Yes, I'll need my mom to mail me that picture.
All right, great.
Yes.
She can't take a photo of the photo. You have to have her mail it.
It's not like that.
I don't know. Her phone still has Snake.
Her phone still has Snake.
You know what I mean?
Not even Snake 2.
No. The snake can only grow to about 3/4 of an inch. It's really tough.
Should you tell your dad about that?
His phone also has Snake.
All right, then.
He's still rocking the road.
Very well.
Right.
Awesome. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. If you yourself have your own theme song or your own question or your own Facebook thumbnail submission, that email for everything is ifiwereyoushow@gmail.com. The opening theme song, once again, was written by Matt Bogdanow. And this closing theme song was written by Amelia. Amelia with a Say a Little Prayer parody. Hopefully we'll see you in either Muhlenberg, Philadelphia, or New York. And if not, we'll see you next week on the internet. Later, everybody.
Peace.
See ya.
I'm an days I wake up, then I turn a mirror and Jacob, listen to If I Were You. Walk home in my hair now, wondering if I should fuck my neighbor now. Right into If I Were You.
That was a HeadGum podcast.